Hey guys, yeah, I know we haven't seen each other for a while because I've had a digital detox, but it was only for tidying up my thoughts and finally expressing them to you so you can gain some knowledge. So today I'm about to first share some experience that might seem relevant for people with depressive thoughts, with lack of motivation to study, to work, to enhance their life quality. I want you to find inspiration in my experience and apply the tools that I will talk about a bit later to your life, so you will get rid of your lack of motivation and you will literally start becoming the best version of yourselves. And second, I want to eliminate the stigma that studying is only for nerds. It is not true. Be for fucking real. Studying is sexy. First of all, it's a social lift. It helps you to elevate on a social ladder or career ladder. And second of all, it actually brings you so much knowledge, so much joy, and you start to comprehend how to express yourself better, and other people start understanding you better. So let's get into it. Here is a plan of this video. In the first section, I will tell you some prehistory of my depressive episode. Yeah, I'm about to change some intimate things with you, so please appreciate that. Some of these things I haven't ever told to anyone, even from my closest friends. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Second section is the depressive episode itself. I will show you how I was feeling from the inside and how I was actually ruining my own life. Third chapter is about how I came out of that depressive episode. And fourth chapter is about how I changed my behavior. These chapters are really tightly connected. And in the conclusion, I will just summarize all of the things that I wanted to say and repeat once again what tools you can use to get rid of that motivationless state or depressive thoughts, those intrusive thoughts like, oh my god, my life is just sinking out of my hands, blah blah blah. So let's go into the first. So people who know me, they remember that I was working in a tech startup, a tech company. We helped students in Russia to pass their Russian states exams. So I was actually one of the co-founders and I was the head of the department of physics. I was teaching physics, like it was my dominant role. And actually in that company, I didn't feel much growth, much development. I felt stagnation, so it subsequently affected my self-perception as a person who cannot succeed in their career path. I was studying at the top one university in Russia, Moscow State University, and furthermore, I was enrolled into a group where all of my group mates had been participating in Olympiads in physics, maths, informatics at their high school. So I actually came from a basic school from nowhere, and I had really basic knowledge. Additionally, one of my group mates actually was plotting against me because he was trying to persuade my friends to turn back to me and stop communicating with me because he considered me really stupid and not worthy, not deserving to be a teacher of physics and studying at that university. So it's one more story. I actually had many family issues that's especially aggravated after the lockdown in the early 2020. At those times, I felt such lack of confidence at what I want my life dedicate to. And the last step is it's actually a catalyst of my mental breakdown that led me into a really severe depressive episode. It's just obviously a love story, a mutual love. And moreover, it was not just a love story. It was not just a love story because it was the first time in my life when I actually allowed myself, I wasn't allowing, it just happened by accident, to fall in love with one of my acquaintances of the same gender as I was. And yeah, imagine me deteriorating my own state by bullying myself that I was a mistake, that I shouldn't exist, that the feelings that I felt were not allowed in the society, in the nature, by the gods' allowance, blah blah blah. Just imagine how I was bullying myself every day, every fucking minute, and of course it led into a really severe depressive episode. Talking about how it affected my working process, yeah, my students actually noticed how bad I felt because I stopped being that passionate, that creative, that willing to express the subject as I had used to. And subsequently, it affected their mood as well. They ceased their productive studying mode, they ceased doing homeworks diligently, and I think that it even affected their final grades at the final exams. And I'm saying sorry for that, guys. Sorry, I couldn't help myself, so I couldn't help you as well. It was the worst decision to cease attending lectures and seminars at uni because I failed 4 exams after that in that semester. No further comments. And the most important thing for me in this story is that I irrevocably lost attachment to my parents and my friends, and I haven't recovered from that period since then, since 2020, and I'm still really struggling with establishing trust to some people. That's one of my biggest insecurities, but it's also another story for another video, how I'm dealing with it, how I'm working on that. And I hope that finally I will overcome that thing, and that depressive episode from 2020 will forever stay in the past for me. All of these things I realized in the retrospective after looking at those periods and contemplating on what changed my life and what helped me to come out of that depressive episodes in 2 months. So basically, first things it is to start. So basically, the first thing is to start cooking for yourself. I still consider it such a powerful remedy against self-hatred and such a big manifestation of self-love. Because what can be a bigger sign of self-love than just buying specific types of products that make you feel better? Take care of what you put in your mouth, how you nourish your body. What is a sign of biggest self-love? You invest so much time into cooking for yourself, finding recipes that you like. By investing this time, you start breeding a feeling of worthiness, that you actually worth of time haven't spent on you. The biggest insight that I actually got 1 month ago, I actually realized why I came out of that depressive episode. It was sleeping habits. At those times, I was so devastated. I felt so exhausted by living. So I just decided to go to sleep really early at around like 9 p.m. And I was getting up at 5, 6 a.m. And in a month and a half, it actually made my body produce more melatonin and my brain started working normally in accordance with its evolutionary patterns. I realized how much sleep affects our body health in general, and that is actually and that it is actually more important than any other area of your life. It's more important than diet, than sports, than studying, than anything, because sleep affects everything. So first of all, I would recommend you to listen to this podcast. I really appreciate that woman. She's an excellent specialist in her area. I appreciate her contribution to the studies that she's done so much, and she just opened my eyes on how sleep actually can affect our body health in general. Also, I can recommend you one of the books that I've read recently. It is Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. This book was written by an American scientist and doctor. He has been studying sleep for decades, and in this book he actually explains, with some proofs of course, how we can incorporate healthy sleeping habits and how we will gain benefits really, really quickly. So, recommended. With the company that I was working at, we launched a new product with like enormous investments, so I actually had to get ready and work in a new project. and invent new ideas how to attract new customers and enhance their grades, help them to get ready for the exams. As I have already said, I failed 4 exams and I just felt an urge to take the whole matter into my own hands and start working on that, and subsequently I succeeded. Listen, my dear viewer, I genuinely believe that if you're still in that phase, in that episode, if you're still struggling with those depressive thoughts, and if you're still unable to thrive, it means that the universe wants you to stay there for a while. They will bring you so much knowledge after that. If you're still in that episode, it just means that you haven't yet gotten your lessons. And as soon as you get your last lesson, you will get out of this episode and you will start thriving. You will start being good and feeling good. But actually, that's in your hand. You can affect how fast you get out of this episode, because this is you who learn the lessons that universe sends to you. This is you who get the lessons. So pay attention to them. Just take care of the things that are happening around you and try to analyze what all of these things were sent to you for. And as soon as you get all of the lessons that you have to in this particular period of your life, you will elevate. You will start feeling better, I promise. So let's go through the last chapter, a pretty quick one. How did I change my routine to never get back to that episode again? First of all, sleeping habits. Sleep should have the highest priority in your life. Nothing can be more important than it. Second of all, to fight my self-hatred and me not accepting my appearance, I ceased consuming not appropriate content in social media. That is to say, I found bloggers of the same body type as I am, of the same appearance, kind of similar appearance as I am, of the same kind of nationality as I am, to make myself ensure that these people like me exist and they can thrive, they can be famous, successful, beloved, etc. Regarding the online school, I just reconsidered the way I conveyed the subjects to my students, and I started being more humorous, more creative, more vivid during the lessons. So they liked it, and we got many customers in the next studying periods. At uni, that's actually hilarious, we prepared for the exam in nuclear physics with my bestie so well that we passed that retake exam for the excellent grade. It was fucking almost impossible to pass this certain subject with an excellent mark. Everyone was so shocked by it, but afterwards I realized that I knew no subject that well as I did with nuclear physics, so I decided to enter the Department of Nuclear Physics, and since then I'm involved into research of the physics of cancer. With the same bestie, we just devastated my former abuser. We just demolished his self-esteem, so he became quiet and harmless, and he never talked to anyone but his weirdo friends afterwards. Like, I felt proud though. That's a bad thing. We just demolished his self-esteem completely. Like, ew, oops. The most curious thing about love story. In the next semester, I actually started studying so hard in the practical studies in labs, and I shared my lab reports, conclusions, results in a common group for all of the students of our faculty, so my subject of love could look at them and take something and use something in their benefits. And it actually made me feel worthy and needed, and subsequently affected my motivation to study, because I showed myself that I could study well, I could get excellent grades, I could be the straight A student, And in that semester, I actually finished it really well because, for example, we had a subject of quantum matter, and I finished that being the third in the top ranking of our group. I remind you that that was a group of the guys that had been participating in the Olympiads, and I finished being third in ranking. How my self-esteem just skyrocketed, bitch! One more thing that you can incorporate into your life is spending money on yourself. Much money, because I hadn't allowed myself to spend money on myself. But then, after that depressive episode, I started going to a cosmetologist to get rid of my acne. I started traveling so much. I went to my friends to St. Petersburg 2 or 3 times in that spring. I started buying so many shits to experiment with my clothing, to find my own style. So yeah, I started spending money on myself, and it helped me to realize that I'm worthy, I'm an investment, I'm my fucking biggest investment in life. And the last thing here, that's my advice. Just start walking. No Instagram, no chatting, no music, just you and the nature around you. I started doing that, just walking along the Moscow streets or riding a bike along the embankment. And since then, I've been living with such a motto. I'm gonna read it aloud because I don't remember it by heart. The infinite, divine beauty of the sky is worthy of living, even if nothing else currently is. Just look up and explore the wisdom of the universe, embrace it, and savor the depth of your senses. That's the motto of my life. I've been living since those times, and nothing more wise and more deep I have never acknowledged than this motto. So yeah, take it. That's my biggest treasure. In conclusion, I would like to say that though that period has been a long time ago, I am still struggling with the consequences. But I'm healing step by step every day. I'm every day getting better. Sometimes it makes me feel so down to face the adversities of life and the complexities of being an immigrant. But I find it interesting to think about what's gonna happen tomorrow. And most importantly, the motto that I've shared to you with is the thing that I am living for. Actually, the happiest moments of my life are the ones when I was just sitting on the lawn, savoring the sun rays touching my skin, and these memories, even now, years after, they just nourish me with so much joy and pleasure. It is the fuel of my life, my joy, my happiness, my everything, my eternal sunshine. A little reference to the new Ariana Grande album. So yeah, girlies, I'm done. Like, look, my first video on the YouTube. Woo! Fucking happy to share all of these things with you. That was so intimate and hard for me to talk about that, and I hope you appreciate that. Please leave all of your feedback in the comments. I would really like to know if I helped you somehow, if I brought any insights or anything else. Please leave me some feedback so I can understand what I should do afterwards. What subjects, for example, I should consider speaking about on this channel, or what you want to listen about. Whew, that's it. I'm really grateful for you being here, for finishing this video with me. I love you already for being here, because I'm so content for just existing and being able to share these experiences. So I'm thankful for you guys for watching that, and yes, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.